Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the 8-Bit Adventures podcast. We're here to bring you the latest and greatest gaming news of the past week. This is episode 353, and I am your host, Sean Hayes. So apologies for no show last week. It was the kiddos were uncooperative for bedtime. And by the time I got them down for bed, it was too late and I was exhausted. Had I not, it might have been the same case this week. Had I not decided to make sure that I had done all the show prep ahead of time. So that was the only reason why we're getting a show out tonight. It's just, summer. School's out and yeah. But it's also a relatively light news week. We do have a couple items, namely some info on patch 12.1 for World of Warcraft. But yeah, it's more of just a couple of fun little things. And then, of course, there was a couple of news items that I didn't include that amounted to just shady practices from big, AAA developers, publishers type stuff. But some of the stories will be tangentially related to those. So we will kind of discuss them there. Hope everyone's had a great week. And without further ado, we're going to get into this week's news. All right, so first up, this one, it's not actually gaming news, but it's kind of tangentially related. It was too weird to not mention it. So IGN reports that Commodore, you remember the Commodore company? Yeah, they're still around. They make computers. So yes, the people that made the Commodore 64 are making a flip phone in the year 2026. They are billing this as a flip phone that does not have social media apps. So there's no social media, there's no web browsing, and there's no email. It is running. Oh, geez, I had the name written down. It's running a version of OS that's like Android, but without all of the Google stuff. Specifically designed to bar the aforementioned apps. So you'll still be able to do Spotify and other apps that don't have any sort of like news or scrolling or notification type stuff. You will still be able to text message. You can use WhatsApp. But it's really focusing more on doing the other stuff then. So like you won't be able to use Instagram, you won't be able to use Facebook, Twitter, Blue Sky, no TikTok. So really anything in which you're doom scrolling, like it won't be available on this phone. There will also be there's like an FM tuner so that you can listen to the radio. So yeah, this would actually be something that I would be really interested in, except for the price point. The lowest price point is still like $500 to $600. And at that point, I'm just like, man, no, it's too expensive. For something that I could do in theory with like a regular OS. By just manually deleting those apps. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, but it's got a retro aesthetic, the whole flip thing. So yeah, it comes out later this day. I was just like, I have to talk about this. It's so weird. And since there's been a couple episodes of Geeks with Issues that I've been on where it's been talk about like retro devices making a comeback, and this kind of fit naturally within that. So yeah, it's coming later this year, I believe. And there's like a couple, and that's the price point that I mentioned was the cheapest option. And then there's more expensive options from there. So it's too expensive in my mind for a flip phone that's supposed to build itself as being simpler. So yeah, Commodore making a flip phone, it's not quite a smartphone. I mean, it's basically a smartphone, but like specifically limiting stuff, to like dumb it down a little bit. But it's also not like it's not a I don't know what the term. I don't know if there is. I don't know if dumb phone is the specific term for not smart devices, but yeah, it doesn't really fit in between. It's closer to a smartphone, but yeah, it's running like a fork of Android that does that limits certain things and kicks Google out. Which I don't know. Maybe that's what we need since Google's trying to force AI, like Gen AI and Gemini into everything. So, yeah. All right. Next up is kind of the big topic for the week is patch 12.1. Curse of Ul'atek is coming to World of Warcraft. This is later this summer. So Blizzard they did a reveal video detailing a whole bunch of all the stuff that's coming. So we've got quite a bit. So New Zone. This is going to be the island that is off the coast of Zulaman. It is the Coiled Isle, where there will be next bit of the campaign story. It's going to follow Zul'Jan, doing Zul'Jan stuff. There are going to be basically like new. So there's going to be new dungeons, but then there's also going to be like new layers, which are sort of dungeons for world bosses that allow you to do like mythic flex raiding. I'll be interested to see how that works. It's also going to be similar to, I forget the name of it, but the thing in Voidstorm where you can essentially like get talent points. Like you can put points into this altar. I don't know if it was the Crucible or something like that, like the Void Crucible or whatever. But it also tied into the Trinket. There will be a similar thing here, the Altar of Corrosion, in which you'll be able to unlock talent points to give you quality of life bonuses when exploring the region. Surge zones or curse surges. So rare elites will spawn, and then when you kill them, it'll unlock specific fishing zones. Blizzard really knew how to lure me into doing that, which normally I don't like camping rare spawns. But cursed fishing, sure. Sure, Blizzard. All right. There will also be a Tortollan sea captain story arc. So, and that's tied to the fishing. That's great. I love Tortollans. I want more Tortollan stuff. So the fact that that's tied into the fishing, fantastic. That will probably be what I end up doing for most of that patch. So we talked about the lairs. New dungeon, Altar of Fangs, will have 3 new bosses. And then the Venomous Abyss raid will feature Ul'atek, along with other like snake-themed creatures. For folks who are watching a video version or the live stream, pictured here is Ul'atek. So 5-headed snake serpent kind of a thing. So like if Hakar wasn't bad enough with 1 head, now picture Hakar with 5 heads. And also poison and venom. So for audio listeners, it's a, picture Hakar as a soul flayer. So big winged serpent Loa of nasty stuff in troll lore. This is like a 5-headed version. So it's like a snake hydra with wings. And it's all about corruption, hatred, and venom. So lovely. Absolutely lovely. Full raid, so not like Rotmeyer where it's like a single boss. This is a full 8 boss raid, with Ul'atek being the final boss. We're going to get 3 new delves, including a new Nemesis delve, and then new stories or variants in existing delves, namely ones that include Snake and Venom. So, yeah, that's great. New prey. There will be new stuff, new rewards related to the new prey. I mean, I dropped off of doing prey. It felt so tedious to me at this point. And like I don't care enough about the rewards. And like the decor that's available is not of interest to me. Like I don't care about the trophies. All they're doing is just sitting in my inventory. Like I don't like how they look. So I don't really want to use them for anything. There will also be cooldown manager and user interface updates, much needed. Because what we got right now is kind of basic. So it'd be nice to have them have more enhancements to them. And housing stuff. Very excited for the housing stuff. Biggest thing. 2 big things. Two biggest things. Blueprints. So Blizzard talked about before on how they want you to be able to save your room layouts. This is how they're going to do it. So it's going to be like a blueprint item that you can do. It'll allow you to save your... you can do a room layout, house layout, exterior house layout kind of a thing. And then those will be able to be transferable. Or you can export and import using blueprints. But also, your pets, your little battle pets, will be able to roam around your house. There will be like little pet bed items. It looks like you can tie to a specific one, and then they've introduced like pathing architecture to allow your pets to roam around and not like bug out and run into furniture. In theory. So yeah, some new navigation technology allowing them to make their way around your decor. So I'm very excited for this. New endeavors. This is also very exciting. There's an Amani. It's a knockoff Amani troll endeavor where Grifta shows up to sell you fake Amani goods. There is one for kobolds. So all sorts of kobold, like candle type stuff. There is an Onaran Centaur endeavor, which like focuses around a Bakar, which that was great. Everybody loved the Bakar, big old doggies. And then Tortollans. So I mentioned I love Tortollans. I want more Tortollan stuff. I was like, I need this endeavor now. When this launches, I'm going to be petitioning hard for Tortollans to be the first endeavor for my neighborhood. Because I love it. They're so great. I love them. And then there's an update on Erator chasing after Xal'atath. I don't know, man. I'm kind of done with Xal'atath. I'm over it. So, and yeah, so lots of chock full of stuff. So to recap, new zone, new raid, new dungeon, new delves, and then also new decor. So there's all sorts of decor coming with all that good stuff. I'm very excited for it. I like the troll stuff. Historically, I don't think we've had a bad troll raid or troll dungeon. I don't know, maybe troll dungeons, but like all the ones from Classic have been pretty well received. And I think Zuldrak, the one in Zuldrak, was pretty well received in Wrath. So I mean, as far as like group content goes, trolls have been pretty good. So, I'm excited for this stuff for the community. Naturally, I will not be doing any of the raids or dungeons because that involves doing stuff with people. But delves, delves will be good. And yeah, and I mean, I'm at the point where, I'm pretty much finished gearing up for the season. So, I mean, I'll be able to carry over like crafted gear. So, I'll be in a pretty good spot going into the next season, which is going to happen 2 weeks after the launch of 12.1. So, I believe that's coming in August. So we still got a couple more months. But I know there's more sort of smaller content updates, over the next coming weeks. So yeah, Coiled Isle, and then I'm super excited for the housing stuff. So yeah, very excited for that. Next up, Sea of Thieves news. Xbox Wire reports that Sea of Thieves is getting like a custom sea editor where players can design their own seas. So it kind of sounds like in the vein of like Minecraft, where you'll like, if you set up your own server, you can set your own custom rules and everything. So this will allow you to it gives it gives a currency, not quite a currency, but like a point system with silver, which can't be used to buy anything, but is used to determine like rankings and stuff. And you can set what you get silver for or lose silver for. And you can, I mean, it seems to be pretty customizable to the point that, like, if you wanted to put, it gave the example of like, if you wanted to put 24 pirates on a sloop, which if I recall are like the supposed to be the 2 pirate boats, like the 2-player boats, you can do that. So I think this is great. I think this is a great way to shake things up and see like what the community does. I mean, anytime that you put in some sort of like level map editor, player communities are going to come up with some wild stuff. It's how the whole MOBA genre came about. It's how we get, really cool mods that turn into like their own games or spin-offs or whatever. So I'm really excited to see what comes of this. And it's the level of design freedom that they have. You can choose what creatures spawn, where, when. Yeah. Yeah. So, and I think I have Sea of Thieves. It's still like it's the always online component. Always, it still kind of pushes me back a little bit, and it's so hard to play solo in that game. Just like, it really is focused around group play, and I don't have a group to play it with. So, but I love hearing about it, and I love what I'm hearing with this. So very excited to see all this custom game mode type stuff coming out. And then for our last bit of news, all right, so we got some Vampire Survivors news, and it's kind of 2-part, and the first part ties into what I alluded to earlier in the episode of some tangential related to other news. So IGN reports. I'm going to lead up with the tangential stuff because it's going to provide context for this. So Epic did this like behind the scenes showcase of how they are utilizing and incorporating generative AI processes into both their developmental and creative processes. Very controversial, and not really all that well liked. So that provides some context. After that video came out, so Poncle, makers of Vampire Survivors, they were going to be doing some kind of crossover with Fortnite. Um, they have made a statement that they are currently reviewing their collaboration with Fortnite after seeing that showcase. Granted, I don't know. I didn't see the actual statement, so I don't know if there was more to it. It could just be like there could be the subtext of we're reviewing this to determine whether we should actually be doing it, and maybe we'll cancel it. Or it could just be like maybe we're reviewing the terms of the agreement just to make sure that like our stuff then can't be used for generative AI elsewhere, or whatever. They are getting praise from the community by saying that, so it seems to be some sort of subtext of, hey, maybe we're not going to do this collaboration because of this process. So, but yeah, it was a whole thing. And then also Epic seems to be going in the route of like this metaverse type idea of, since everybody's using Unreal Engine 6, like they're building the architecture so that then like a lot of the Fortnite skins that they're developing if they're also using generative AI for it, means that they would be able to be imported into other games. But it all kind of sounds like we're going back to NFTs and the metaverse type nonsense with that. I think I really feel like Tim Sweeney may have gotten Tim Sweeney, or whoever's in charge over there, maybe got burned on NFTs and was like, I got it. I still got to make them a thing. So yeah. So I would not be surprised if Poncle's deciding, hey, maybe we need to pull the plug on this collaboration. But in more fun news, right? Titan Comics is working on a Vampire Survivors 4-issue comic series that's coming out in September. And then next March, they'll all be compiled into a singular graphic novel. And like, that's awesome. That's really great. Vampire Survivors is not known for having a very in-depth story. So I'm actually really excited. I mean, this whole the podcast came about because I haven't done it in a few years, but I have a web comic. So like, and I do enjoy graphic novels. And so the idea of like a game that I really enjoy and did not expect at all to have this kind of thing coming out, that's great. So yeah, I'll be very excited for that. I hope that it's just like a regular release and not a Kickstarter. Just because I like, there's so many Kickstarters and it's a great platform, but it's just there's been a lot of manufacturing hiccups for a lot of projects lately. And it's just the trying to keep track of all the timelines and everything is just exhausting at this point. So hopefully it's just like a more traditional, like that they've already secured the funding and it's just like a more traditional development workflow for it. So yeah. That is actually going to wrap up all of the news for this week. As one final bit, I forgot to mention, I could have written it down in here, but like and speaking of Kickstarter, there is a Kickstarter for a graphic novel, as like a prologue, I guess, for The Wizard, the Witch, and the Wild One, which is a very excellent podcast put forth by Abria Iyengar, Erica Ishii, Lou Wilson, and Brennan Lee Mulligan. So they're doing like a graphic novel version of like the prologue to that story. And it's excellent. So that made me think of that because of the graphic novels. But that is going to wrap things up for this week. A little bit of a shorter episode, but it's summer. We're kind of in between big releases. I know next week is Star Fox, so we'll be talking about that for sure. And it's also set championships next week for Wilds Unknown. Oh man, I could have talked about that. We'll talk about it next week because it's set championships. So, if you want to see more content from 8-Bit Adventures, be sure to check out our website, 8bitadventures.com. If you want to help support that content, the best ways to do that are to become a patron over at patreon.com/8bitadventures, or you can subscribe here on twitch.tv/8bitadventures. Big shout out and thank you to all the current patrons. Thank you for keeping the lights on. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your contributions to the Nintendo Switch Online account that those particular patrons are part of. And our opening theme is One Up by Professor Shy Guy. You can find his work over at professorshyguy.bandcamp.com. And with that, we are going to call it a day and wrap things up. So, as always, folks, have fun, happy gaming, and enjoy your pie cake.